you can't stop with these sort of awful thoughts you have and then saying these awful words and not expect awful actions to take place.
Matt.
And that's the unfortunate environment we're in.
In all of the commentary that was provided yesterday in the wake of the assassination of Charlie Kirk, one commentator got fired from MSNBC. And I want to play the offensive. I don't know how offensive it is. I think there's one or two words that I might have called into question, but I don't know that it rises to the level of being fired. And my caution here is this, that liberal outlets like MSNBC, it's certainly a liberal outlet. Let's cool our jets a little bit before we start knee-jerk firing anybody who says anything with any validity or truth at all in it, in this weird cultural effort to try to whitewash the legacy of Charlie Kirk, who was a racist, anti-Semitic, white supremacist. It's what he was. Black women aren't smart enough. They don't have the brain power to process things in any position they have. Anytime he sees a black woman pilot, he's afraid because she's not qualified. She stole, like black people do. She stole that job from a white pilot, a white man pilot. He advocated girls not go to college, but instead get married, start a family. He's one of these types that doesn't want women to vote. Lying about the origins of our governmental founding documents, that they are based literally directly on Deuteronomy. It's just a screed of conspiracies and lies and racism and hate, vitriol and divisiveness from Charlie Kirk. Does he deserve to die because of it? No. I'll say it again and again and again and again. But let's not try to make him into some kind of a saint. He was not that. He was a polarizing, destructive figure in our culture, in our country. Here's what Matthew Dowd said that got him fired yesterday, and then we're going to read a statement from the president of MSNBC.
I'm going to bring you in on this. Talk to me about the environment. The reports of exactly what happened are not confirmed yet. But talk to me about the environment in which a shooting like this happens.
Yeah, and again, I emphasize what you just emphasized. We don't know any of the full details of this. That we don't know if this was a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration, or so we have no idea about this. But following up with what was just said, he's been one of the most divisive, especially divisive younger figures in this, who is constantly sort of pushing this sort of hate speech or sort of aimed at certain groups. And I always go back to hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which then lead to hateful actions. And I think that's the environment we're in, that people you can't stop with these sort of awful thoughts you have and then saying these awful words and not expect awful actions to take place.
Matt.
And that's the unfortunate environment we're in.
So at the end there, it seemed to me that Katie Tur had a producer in her ear chirping to shut Matt Dowd up. Again, there's a couple of action words in there that I think are problematic, but I don't think they rise to the level of being shit-canned by the network, because what did he say that was untrue? Charlie Kirk absolutely was one of the most divisive characters in this movement, in our society, in our culture, in politics today. He didn't even call him a white supremacist, as I've been calling him all day, a racist, an anti-Semite, a hater and an opponent of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Says it was a mistake to enshrine in the laws of the United States equality for Black Americans. That was a mistake, he said. Talked about Jews being too powerful and controlling things. Hateful thoughts lead to hateful words. Where's the lie? Which then lead to hateful actions. That is true. You think about something, oftentimes, not always, but hateful thoughts do lead to hateful words. And those words oftentimes lead to hateful actions or spur others. Sometimes your hateful thoughts and words lead others to hateful actions. Matthew Dowd is right. Matthew Dowd is right. Now, here's where he gets into a little bit of trouble, but I don't think it rises to the level of being fired. You can't stop with these sort of awful thoughts you have and then say these awful words and not expect. And not expect, that's the problem. Those two words, and not expect. Not expect. You can't expect this not to happen. Yeah, that's a problem. Because we live in a liberal democracy and we have the freedom of speech, and we should not be resorting to violence based on even some of the most disgusting beliefs. But should he have been fired for this? I've said more truthful but aggressive things about Charlie Kirk over the course of the last 2 days because they're true. They are irrefutable that Charlie Kirk is a white supremacist. Charlie Kirk surrounds himself with racists and white supremacists, the Jack Posobics, the Blake Neff, who was fired as one of the head writers for Tucker Carlson when his online pseudonym and profile revealed it to be just white supremacist, racist, KKK type shit that he was writing and posting online. Why would Charlie Kirk gravitate to these people? Why would Charlie Kirk surround himself with vile conspiracy theorists and racists like Jack Posobiec, who himself motivated and had goings on with the Pizzagate conspiracy that culminated in gunfire here in Washington, D.C., where a man attacked a pizza place for having kids in the basement, a pizza place at which there is no basement. Charlie Kirk surrounded himself with racists because Charlie Kirk was a racist. Again, it doesn't mean he deserved to be assassinated. It doesn't mean that his children deserve to be fatherless and his wife to be a widow. No, I have deep compassion for his family. Not putting it on. Not something I'm just saying. I grew up fatherless. Really getting raw today. It's not great. But we can't lie to ourselves about who he was. And I don't believe that Matthew Dowd did lie here. I hope he lands on his feet. Here's the headline from the Wall Street Journal. The conservative Rupert Murdoch owned Fuel on the Fire News Corp owned Wall Street Journal. This is their headline. Dowd no longer with MSNBC after on-air comments about Kirk. Here's what they wrote. Dowd's comments on Katie Tur Reports on Wednesday prompted widespread backlash and an apology from MSNBC president Rebecca Cutler. I don't know where the widespread backlash came from, probably from the right wing, probably from the Rupert Murdoch-owned properties like Fox News. But this is what the president of MSNBC said. Quote, during our breaking news coverage of the shooting of Charlie Kirk, Matthew Dowd made comments that were inappropriate, insensitive, and unacceptable, Cutler said. We apologize for his statements, as he has. Again, other than and not expect, everything he said was correct. Everything he said was accurate, spot on, truth. And if we're going to shy away from that which is uncomfortable but true, we're not doing a service to anybody. What do you think? Where am I wrong? Where am I right? You can tell me below in the comments, wherever you're watching this video. You can also call the voicemail line 714-576-4054. And of course, as always, you can email me daily at dollemore.com. I love and appreciate you. Rough day. It's going to be a rough week and likely a rough month. Hopefully things settle down soon. I'll see you next time. Be genuine. Take care of one another.